Hello, I'm Jordyn LaBarge.
And I'm Clair Osterhaus. Welcome to KTRM Studios on Thursday, October 7th.
Tonight, we will cover new gender-inclusive housing options, an academic affairs-sponsored campus think tank, and a look at Truman State Greenhouse.
These stories and more brought to you by KTRM Studios. You don't want to miss this.
The university is offering incentive programs for vaccination among students and employees. Organizations, including residence halls and athletic teams, are eligible for a cash reward for their organization if 85% of members verified that they are vaccinated with the university. The cash reward is scaled to the size of the organization. The organizations with more than 30 members can earn $300, 20 to 29 members can earn $200, 10 to 19 members would receive $100, and under 10 could earn $50. Official rosters with the UNI will determine the size of the organization for most groups. Advisors and organization leaders have more information about how to guarantee your organization earns the incentive. Vaccination status is required to be updated with the university by November 1st to be eligible for the incentive. Students can bring their vaccination card to the Student Health Center in person or submit it online.
Residence Life is updating the Truman Housing Portal and will be introducing gender-inclusive housing beginning next academic year. Over the summer, the Board of Governors approved gender-inclusive housing for Truman as a way for students to be more comfortable with their housing placements during the academic year. Formerly, students would select housing based on their biological sex and will be housed with students of that same sex. After the change in housing policy, students can now indicate a preference to live in gender-inclusive housing, which will allow students to be housed together regardless of biological sex starting in the fall of 2022. Gender-inclusive housing is optional, and students will have the opportunity to select which housing option they would prefer for the school year. Residence Life believes that this change would benefit students and help them to feel more comfortable on campus, as well as appeal to potential students. Students who are interested in gender-inclusive housing next year can indicate this preference on Truman's housing application at portal.truman.edu.
Truman students can earn 1 credit hour teaching English to elementary and middle school students in Taiwan via Google Meet. CML 200 or Taiwan Connect is a service learning course. Starting in the second block on October 19th, it will meet every Tuesday evening in Baldwin Hall 309. The only requirement is that participating students must be native English speakers. Students enrolled in 12 to 16 credits can take the class at no additional cost. For more information, contact Assistant Professor of Chinese David Zaijun in McLean Hall 313.
Truman is celebrating International Education Week this week. The International Students Office hosted several events throughout the week. Reporter Daniel Harper covered the Culture and Language Fair on Monday.
This is the International Education Week, and we are currently at the Culture Fair. So it's part of freshman symposium class to come and learn something about Native cultures. So at each table we have like an international student, and then we also have a domestic student who is here to give them more support.
But yeah, we're just as the international students, we're just supposed to teach them about our country and about our culture in general, and like focus specifically on the language. So we have to teach them a couple of words, the basics like hello, how are you, and goodbye, and how to say them in our own language. And also do an activity that will show them the culture or something about the language.
Okay, what's up? Usually you play first to 3, so you do it until you get 3, and you usually keep the same.
So what I'm doing for my country is just because we speak Arabic, which has a different alphabet. So I'm just showing them how to write their names in Arabic and just show them how different the letters are and how we write from right to left.
So Hossein was teaching people about the difference between Hossein and Hassan, which is from originally Arabic culture, is Iranian culture. For example, Hossein, his name is Mohammed Hossein, and Hossein is because he is the younger child.
It's just a way for them to see the countries and learn about them.
The Sustainability Office hosted several events this week to celebrate Sustainability Week. Events included a compost bin painting on the quad, a recycling drive, and a movie screening. Today, student government, ABC, and college Democrats assisted students in petitioning political leaders against Pipeline 3 in the Student Union building. Tomorrow from 3 to 6 p.m., students can attend SUSFest on the quad to learn more about sustainability. Several student organizations will be represented at the event and will be giving away freebies. Attendees can enter a raffle to win sustainable prizes. For the last event, the Sustainability Office is volunteering at the White Rose Farm from 1 to 4 p.m. on Saturday, October 9th. Participants will be carpooling from the Violet Hall parking lot at 12:30 p.m. Students can sign up and learn more about more using the QR code on Sustainability Week posters.
On October 12th, Truman State will be hosting author Robin Wall Kimmerer for a presentation of her book, Braided Sweetgrass: Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge. Professor of Environmental Biology at the State University of New York, has been awarded the John Burroughs Medal for Outstanding Nature Writing, addressed the United Nations General Assembly in 2015, and is the founder and director of the Center for Native Peoples and the Environment. Students, faculty, and community members are invited to join her presentation via live stream or in person in Magruder Hall 2001 at 7 p.m. on the 12th.
Stay tuned after the break for details on Academic Affairs Campus Think Tank.
And we'll take a tour of Truman's greenhouse with greenhouse student manager Iva Wellborn.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
KTRM Studios is going off limits. Check out a preview for our newest segment.
This year, we're going off limits. Come with KTRM Studios to some of the most pervasive and mysterious places on campus, and just maybe even learn about some Truman history along the way. This is Off Limits. Next week, come with us as we explore Truman's Library Clock Tower. We'll show you inside this legendary Truman icon and introduce you to the woman who made it all possible on our next show, Thursday, October 21st. And remember, you don't want to miss this.
The Truman State Forensics Union competed at Western Kentucky University's debate and individual competitions and obtained a total of 10 new qualifications. In debate, Elijah Baum took third in speaking, and Alicia Stout placed as top speaker. For individuals, Jackson Elder took first in impromptu speaking and extemporaneous speaking. Ella Schnacky placed third in dramatic interpretation, and Jillian Humke and Larissa Ratney placed sixth in duo interpretation. Emma Rohrbach also placed top novice in extemporaneous speaking. In the open division, Mary Cecil, who was invited to the Alexis Elliott Memorial Round Robin, was a quarterfinalist, while Stout and Baum were octafinalists. In the JV division, Matt Cruz was a semifinalist, while Rohrbach and Bartz were quarterfinalists. Lastly, in the novice division, Caroline Spiller was a finalist. Overall, Truman won first in the debate competition, first in combined debate and IE, and third in individual events. The team is planning on continuing its achievements at the Phil Hunt Invitational in October.
On Tuesday, October 12th, the Office for Academic Affairs will be sponsoring TruSolutions, a campus think tank from 7 to 9 p.m. in the Sub Georgian Room. Students, faculty, and staff are all invited to participate. The topic for discussion is campus climate, divided into 3 subtopics: health and wellness, diversity and inclusion, and advising. Participants will provide input on all 3 subtopics throughout the event. The resulting ideas and suggestions will be used to help inform and create new initiatives from the administration at Truman. While an RSVP is expected, it is not required for participation.
Truman's theater department held its first in-person theater performance since spring of 2020. Check out the story with me, media manager Clair Osterhaus. From September 29th to October 2nd, the Truman State Theater Department performed Vanya, Sanya, Masha, and Spike. The performance, which won the 2013 Tony Award for Best Play, was directed by Randy Baim. The story follows 3 siblings, Vanya, Sanya, and Masha's lover Spike, as they discuss their lives. The play opened on September 29th and played till October 2nd. Tickets were $8 and performances were all in person at the James G. Severance Theater. This has been their first in-person performance since the spring 2020 semester. Masks were required within the theater. For more information about this and upcoming performances, please visit boxoffice.truman.edu. This is Clair Osterhaus with KTRM Studios.
Reporter Izzy Wan gives an in-depth tour of Truman's greenhouse with greenhouse student manager Iva Wellborn.
Hi, welcome to the Truman State Greenhouse. My name is Iva, and I'm one of the student managers here. So I'm basically in charge of making sure all the plants get taken care of and everybody's organized. Fall is a really cool time to be in the greenhouse because there's a lot of really neat things happening. All of our orchids are blooming. We have around 20 different species of orchids, which is really cool because orchids are actually more numerous than the amount of mammals on the planet. We also have our own replica of a naturally occurring peat bog, and in it there are carnivorous plants. There's some butterworts, some sundews, pitcher plant, and some jewel orchids. We have the rest of our tropical plants, and they're just plants that you don't normally see outside in the Midwest, in more tropical regions, and some really cool houseplants. Okay, so now we're out here on the soil plot. This is where plants can kind of get larger and you can kind of be immersed in a natural habitat. So one of the really cool things we have is a koi pond. And there happen to be some goldfish in it, and those have been saved and rescued from the biology labs. So they're survivors. And behind me, we have a banana tree that has produced really cool and like rare bananas that you can't really buy in stores anymore. And we also have another like collection of tropical plants mixed in with just temperate plants that you see outside every day. Okay, so we call this the death pit. This is where plants go when we don't have the heart to kill them, but we don't want to keep them in a pot anymore. And then we get to see kind of what survives and what doesn't. So this is our desert rose bonsai. This is one of the most prized plants in the greenhouse. It's kind of scary, but also really cool because it produces a neurotoxin that was historically used by Indigenous Americans to throw poison darts, basically. So we don't touch it a lot, but we like to look at it, and it's blooming right now. So we also have a lot of student workers in here, and they basically are what makes the greenhouse run. And they basically water, repot, and take care of the bugs and whatever else other problems kind of arise. So there's a lot of labor that requires this greenhouse to work, but we have a lot of good workers doing it. So what I like most about working in the greenhouse is that when I get to come in here in the winter and snow's everywhere and everything's a sheet of ice, and I come in and everything's green and blossoming and warm and sunny, and it's a nice little oasis. It's really cool that we have this particular greenhouse connected to Magruder because it's a great resource for teachers and classes to come in here and do experiments, and we've got a lot of extra plants that people can basically do, cut up, experiment, do some like labs, and learn a lot.
Thanks for tuning in with us tonight. For complete news coverage, be sure to stay tuned to KTRM and pick up a copy of the index.
Don't forget to also check out our news content on tmn.truman.edu.
You can also follow KTRM Studios on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to KTRM Studios on YouTube for full broadcast news coverage.
If you've ever thought about being on TV, be sure to head on over to tmn.truman.edu/apply to fill out an application today.
From all of us here at TMN, thank you for tuning in and have a great rest of the week.